All right, Robbie, we're back again, and we have something really profound to talk about because Acieta itself is a profound company, but there's been a merger recently that I'm really, really excited to share with our audience. Can we talk about that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Good to be with you again, Tony. And yeah, I mean, if you haven't heard or if you haven't seen the details, you know Legacy Acieta. We've been around for 41 years, and then earlier this year, we merged with the RoBEX platform, which is a platform with 3 different automation businesses in it. And they're all specialists in certain applications. So their core competencies are different than what Acieta does well. So you know us, we're in heavy metal.
Everyone knows
not just
you guys.
the music, but you know, in bending, in everything that has to do with sheet metal, thin, thick, large, anything that goes into construction materials and things like that. So that's been our legacy. We've also done a lot of standard products, as you can see here at the booth, in palletizing, in welding, in material handling, and now, of course, gauging as well. Fast Gauge is our latest product here.
Very nice, very nice.
Because, I mean, you and I, we come from the machine shop world, right? It's nice to make a part and automate the part in and out of the machine, but then you still have to take it to the CMM or somehow check it. So that was like the next level, next step of automating the process there. And in this format, it's a small, handy, you know, you can roll it around the shop type of system instead of a CMM, a fixed CMM. So to go back to the merger, we merged, as you can see, our new logo here. We have Midstate, RoBEX, and Vantage. Each one of those companies comes with a lot of history. Vantage has been around for 20 plus years as well. Experts in, you know, AMRs, as you see running around here, warehousing, and any type of, they're really good at gauging, at inspection and gauging. And then you look at the RoBEX, the RoBEX guys are the AMR guys. They've been doing this for quite a while. We have Legacy Acieta, we have integrated a few AMRs over the years, but that's not our core competency. That's not really what we do. These guys are absolute experts in it. And so we roll this all up. Midstate, certainly big, large trailer parts. So we roll all this up under the Acieta platform. So the new Acieta is exciting.
This is exciting. You took the words right out. That's exactly what I was going to lead into. It is exciting because we know Acieta, the legacy, the purpose of an integrator I want to get into in just a minute. But now you have this umbrella where you say, we have done a couple of those, but now we have leadership and know-how and years of dedication toward said operation, which is now an umbrella. That to me is exciting.
Yeah, it is super exciting. You know, our number one goal, as most businesses are, is serving our customers. And so when we go into customers and we're able to provide them all kinds of robotic application help, that's very gratifying, right? That's when you walk in, you're like, hey, oh, you got a palletizing challenge. You can't find people there. Not a problem. We got you covered. Either a standard product, if that works, or a customized product. Welding, we talked about this a lot. You know, there's such a shortage of welders these days. So we can walk in and talk about welding. And then we can talk about inspection, and we can talk about testing. So we really kind of reached, you know, more and more applications for our typical customers.
Robbie, every time I speak with you, a couple of words are resoundingly repeated, and I've come to know you in this way. And you've mentioned one already, which is service.
Yes.
You are wonderful at making sure that your customers are supported, and that's kind of the goal of an integrator as we dive into that a little bit more. And the other one is safety. You and I were on a podcast talking only about safety for the longest time, and that's where the world of automation comes into play as well. We always talk about the 3Ds, the old dirty dangerous. Safety is so important, helping people with their back problems or any issues of lifting. And again, let's talk about all of these aspects of service, safety, the 3Ds, and how an integrator specifically helps with this kind of stuff, because the world knows Fanuc, and they know Fanuc quite well as you are a partner with them. But what's the difference between working with Fanuc, who we love, and working directly with an integrator as well to encompass all of the things we just described?
Yeah, that's a great question. If you think of Fanuc or any robotic manufacturer, certainly Fanuc the best, if you think of them as an arm right? It's an arm. We call ourselves sometimes arms dealers, which is a whole nother story. But it's basically an arm. But what does an arm do? An arm is no good if you don't have eyes. An arm is no good if you don't have any sensories, right? You have to have a gripper. You have to have a hand.
Fingers.
You've got to have fingers. You have to integrate the whole package. That you will not get from an OEM of making arms, right? Of an arms builder. So that's what an integrator does, is really understand the need, the application, understands the technical difficulties of getting something done, putting together vision systems with grippers, with scanners, with all kinds of different technology to make the whole package work well. And Fanuc is certainly supporting us in some of the software stuff in the background that we need to do an interface with. But the actual application, like you see here, that's not something that Fanuc does. They do it for show and tell purposes, but not for customers, right? So that's why customers are seeking integrators, and hopefully they'll find us that way.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. Acieta's known for that, and I think for me that's a really wonderful description, Robbie. Mm-hmm. Honestly, if I think of an arm and how many components go into it at the end of the day, if I was to take, I've been into machine shops. You know, I do this job a lot, right? Running around, much like yourself. And I'll see a cobot or a robot in a corner as a very heavy boat anchor.
Yep.
And I'm going, what's going on? Well, they didn't have the partnership or the relationship that they needed to have the fingers and the eyes and the ears and the thought process to go along with it. So for me, that really clarifies the arm versus what an integrator brings to the table. And that goes right back to the service that you just brought up right before we segued into it.
Exactly. And we've seen this over the years, like you said, a very expensive boat anchor in the corner. And really, customers understand more and more that their core business is not automation. Their core business is making parts, whatever those parts are. They're really good at that. But then when someone thinks they're going to integrate their own robot, more times than none, it doesn't go so well. And then they get afraid. It's like, oh, robotics is not for us, right? That's not true. You just have to make sure that you understand the whole package and work with a partner that can provide that package. So that's, when the cobots came out, the whole deal was like, well, now we don't need programmers because we can do it all really simple and easy. It's not 100% of the truth, though. You still have to figure out your grippers. You still have to figure out your locations and your sequences and tool changes and whatever that might be. You can't. That's something an integrator does and does really well. And risk assessment. We talked about health and safety. Doing a risk assessment is key. You have to make sure that your employees are safe. And that's something we're experts in, we're certified in. That's why you seek someone that understands. Just very much like when you have an inspection in your house. When you build your house, you have an inspector to come out and make sure it's built right for safety purposes. Same here. We do risk assessments every day.
Robbie, can I have the discussion with you that, because you brought up something that I think is important to reiterate, which is, it's not always just you can do it on your own, although we have made the software a lot easier.
Yeah.
And I would make the discussion that we utilize those headlines on the newspapers, on the magazines.
Yeah.
It's easy. Anyone can do it because we were trying to reach an audience that doesn't want to step out of their comfort zone.
Right.
But in my opinion, for what it's worth and for the audience watching right now, in my opinion, the integrator is actually that perfect middleman that says, look, we did tell you it's real easy and you can do it yourself. The news channels out there did, but at the same time, there's more to it than just taking it off the shelf and doing it yourself. And that's where the integrators come in. And even just to build that confidence as well, you guys have 24-hour, 7-day-a-week service, don't you? So if somebody calls you with a question, with a worry, a concern, something's broken, whatever it might be, you guys can answer that concern right away.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's key also, because if you think about customers bring automation into their shops to increase productivity. So when your productivity is up and for some reason it stops, there's a big gap, right? It's not like if you have 5 machines doing the same job, one goes down and it's okay,
we'll just speed up the other one a little bit.
When you have a robot system and it basically supports high productivity and it goes down, you got to fix it. You got to fix it like now because they're not making product. And so we've had for many, many years, 7/24 service. Customers can call us. We have service techs fly out on Christmas Day, to help a customer.
I've heard that rumor before as well.
It is true. It is true. I've personally seen that. So, we really understand what it takes to make a customer successful. And that in return makes us successful.
Robbie, I'd like to bring this thing full circle because
Sure.
you and I, we can talk forever. We
I
both
know.
know that. I think the audience by now knows that we're good friends and we can talk forever between podcasting and stuff. I'd like to give you a moment, just kind of wrap this all up about the new merger, what it brings to the table. We started off this with just a closing statement. This is what's new. This is what's great. You've always known the legacy of Acieta. This is now what you can find. Just anything to convey that information.
Absolutely. So we're headquartered out of the Midwest. We, as you know, had location, Legacy Acieta had locations in Iowa and in Wisconsin. Now we're in Michigan, we're in Indiana, we're in Ohio. We're obviously in Iowa and Wisconsin and in Mexico. So this is a tremendous way to serve our customers local. The other thing I want to say, again, is the application range that we're able now to bring to our customers. And actually, not
at
just
an expert level.
At an expert level. There's a lot of experience in-house that a combined Acieta now can take care of almost any manufacturer, manufacturer of any kind of parts. And so we're pretty excited about that because you know how it is. When you have a shop full of machines, you want to tend the machines, but you also have gauging requirements. You also have to package the parts. You know, it's like there's so many different levels than just the machine tool tending. And so we're very excited about being able to bring all of that now to all manufacturing shops. And that, you know me, I love job shops. That's like a passion of mine. My background is a lot in that. That's how we met. So we're pretty excited to be able to do that now.
Robbie, I never want these conversations to end, but they must at some point. We'll just have to stop the record button and pick it up outside of the cameras as well. Robbie, thank you so much.
As always,
Truly
brother.
appreciate your time, my friend. Thank you all for watching. This is Legacy Acieta, the new merger, and all the excitement, being able to help you at an expert level. If you need to know more about automation for your shop, look up Robbie and Acieta anytime. They'll be happy to help you 24/7.